Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 1. Never sacrifice sick or defective cattle, sheep, or goats to the Lord your God, for he detests such gifts. Verse 2. When you begin living in the towns the Lord your God is giving you, a man or woman among you might do evil in the sight of the Lord your God and violate the covenant. Verse 3. For instance, they might serve other gods or worship the sun, the moon, or any of the stars, the forces of heaven, which I have strictly forbidden. Verse 4. When you hear about it, investigate the matter thoroughly, if it is true that this detestable thing has been done in Israel. Verse 5. Then the man or woman who has committed such an evil act must be taken to the gates of the town and stoned to death. Verse 6. But never put a person to death on the testimony of only one witness. There must always be 2 or 3 witnesses. Verse 7. The witnesses must throw the first stones, and then all the people may join in. In this way, you will purge the evil from among you. Verse 8. Suppose a case arises in a local court that is too hard for you to decide. For instance, whether someone is guilty of murder, or only of manslaughter, or a difficult lawsuit, or a case involving different kinds of assault. Take such legal cases to the place the Lord your God will show you. Verse 9. And present them to the Levitical priest or the judge on duty at that time. They will hear the case and declare the verdict. Verse 10. You must carry out the verdict they announce and the sentence they prescribe at the place the Lord chooses. You must do exactly what they say. Verse 11. After they have interpreted the law and declared their verdict, the sentence they impose must be fully executed. Do not modify it in any way. Verse 12. Anyone arrogant enough to reject the verdict of the judge or the priest who represent the Lord your God must die. In this way, you will purge the evil from Israel. Verse 13. Then everyone else will hear about it and be afraid to act so arrogantly. Verse 14. You are about to enter the land the Lord your God is giving you. When you take it over and settle there, you may think, we should select a king to rule over us, like the other nations around us. Verse 15. If this happen, be sure to select as king the man the Lord your God chooses. You must appoint a fellow Israelite. He may not be a foreigner. Verse 16. The king must not build up a large stable of horses for himself or send his people to Egypt to buy horses. For the Lord your God has told you, you must never return to Egypt. Verse 17. The king must not take many wives for himself, because they will turn his heart away from the Lord, and he must not accumulate large amount of wealth in silver and gold for himself. Verse 18. When he sits on the throne as king, he must copy for himself this body of instructions on a scroll in the presence of the Levitical priest. Verse 19. He must always keep that copy with him and read it daily as long as he lives. That way, he will learn to fear the Lord his God by obeying all the terms of these instructions and decrees. Verse 20. This regular reading will prevent him from becoming proud and acting as if he is above his fellow citizens. It will also prevent him from turning away from these commands in the smallest way, and it will ensure that he and his descendants will reign for many generations in Israel. Amen.